Hi everyone, I'm Miss Amy from Story and Craft Time. Nice that you could join me today. I enjoy this, being with you this way in the mornings on Wednesdays, and today I have a funny book I want to share with you. It's called Duck on a Tractor by David Shannon. Now I've seen lots of farm machinery and all kinds of things going on out here in the country while the farmers are bringing the crops in, but I've never seen a duck on a tractor. So why don't we read this book and try to find out what's going on here. Duck on a Tractor by David Shannon. Down on the farm, Duck sometimes got wild ideas. One day he decided he could ride a bike, so he did. Then he spotted a tractor. "I bet I can drive a tractor," he said. The other animals weren't so sure, but they all said, "Well, if he can ride a bike, maybe he can drive a tractor too." Duck climbed on the tractor and looked around. He pushed some pedals and wiggled a metal stick, but nothing happened. Then a shiny little piece of metal by the steering wheel caught his eye. He pulled it out, he pushed it in, then he turned it. All of a sudden the tractor shook and coughed and rumbled. It began to move. At first it moved very slowly and it jerked a lot, but it was fun. Duck drove around the barnyard until he got the hang of it, and then he stopped in front of the other animals. "Climb on, everybody," Duck said. Dog was first. He jumped right up next to Duck. "Woof," said Dog, but what he thought was, "We're going for a ride." To everyone's surprise, Cow clambered on next. "Moo," said Cow, but what she thought was, "This is the silliest thing I've ever done." Pig and Pig took a seat in back. "Oink," said Pig and Pig, but what they thought was, "This sure beats walking." Then came Chicken, Mouse, and Goat. "Squawk," said Chicken, but what she thought was, "Last one on is a rotten egg." "Squeak," said Mouse, but what she thought was, "I can see everything from up here." "Maa," said the Goat, but what he thought was, "I'm hungry. Does the garbage dump have a drive-through window?" Next up were Horse and Cat. Cat jumped up gracefully onto the tractor. Horse not so much. "Meow," said the cat, but what she thought was, "I was going to take a nap, but this should be very interesting." "Nay," said Horse, but what he thought was, "I think I'd rather walk." The only one left on the ground was Sheep. "Baa," said Sheep, but what she thought was, "This is too dangerous." "Get on, Sheep," everyone shouted, but Sheep wouldn't budge, so Duck started driving away without her. "Wait," cried Sheep, "don't leave me here all alone." She ran after the tractor, took a flying leap upon it. "Quack," yelled Duck, but what he thought was, "Wahoo!" Duck steered the tractor down the lane and out onto the main road, and before long they were driving right through the middle of town. It was lunchtime, so most people were in the diner. They all looked up when Duck and the other animals passed by the big window. Doesn't that look silly? A little boy named Edison was having lunch with his grandma. "Did you ever?" Grandma gasped. But what she thought was, "A duck on a tractor? That's impossible." "That's totally awesome," Edison shouted. But what he thought was, "No one's going to believe this." Marcine, the waitress, looked up from her pad and noticed Cat. "Heavens to Betsy!" she exclaimed. But what she thought was, "I like cats." Deputy Bob blabbered, "Well, if that don't beat all!" But what he thought was, "How am I going to explain this to the sheriff?" A man named Otis chimed in. "I must be seeing things." But what he thought was, "Oh no, not again." "Holy cow!" hollered Manny the cook. But what he thought was, "Holy cow." Manny usually said exactly what he thought. The mayor almost choked on his pie. "Good gravy," he sputtered. But what he thought was, "Those pigs are even fatter than I am." Porky just whistled, but what he thought was, "That duck is smarter than he looks." Gwen came out of the restroom. "Would you look at that!" she exclaimed. But what she thought was, "I can't see a thing without my glasses." Farmer Odell observed, "That's a dang nice tractor." But what he thought was, "Hey, that's my tractor." He decided he'd better go after it and ran out the door. Everyone else ran out too and chased after him. By this time, Duck had turned onto the next street. The tractor shuddered to a stop. Duck tried turning the shiny little piece of metal again, and nothing happened. "I don't know much about spelling," said Dog, "but I think E means that it's the end of our ride." Sheep cleared her throat. "You know," she said, "I think we might just get in trouble for this." "Let's get out of here," yelled Duck, just as Farmer Odell and everyone from the diner came around the corner. Everyone's just taking a gander at this. Everyone burst out laughing. "Nah," they all said, "it couldn't have been." "It was an optical illusion," exclaimed Otis. Farmer Odell said he must have left his tractor running by accident. "I guess that explains it," Deputy Bob agreed. Then they all went back to the diner to finish their lunch. And no one ever admitted that on that day they had seen a cow, a goat, a cat, a dog, a sheep, a chicken, a horse, 2 pigs, a mouse, and a duck on a tractor. Isn't that the silliest book? I just love his art. I love that picture toward the middle of the story where they're going through town on their tractor and shows all the animals on the tractor. So cute. Well, I wondered if you might like to find out an easy way to make a tractor by using the letter T. Did you know you could make art with letters of the alphabet? Here's the one that I made. It's actually, see if I can do this, it's actually a T, a letter T here, and another smaller letter T here. And I even have a letter L for the seat, and I guess you could say that these are O's. So this is a good opportunity to talk about letters. And if any of you would like to go to a site where they show you a different animal or a different thing that you can make with every letter of the alphabet, you can just Google ABC Crafts. It's on the All About Learning Press site. So I think that they just had the cutest ideas on that page. So what we do to start this is just choose a piece of paper. I didn't have any light blue paper today. I decided to go with pink. I cut out some pieces. I took a piece of green paper lengthwise and cut a piece about this size. And then I kind of notched it to make it look like grass and glued it down at the bottom of my paper. And that's what that looked like. Then I took a red piece of paper and this piece isn't red, but of course, but I folded it in half this way, and then I cut out a letter T from one of the half pieces, and I glued that to my paper next, and I'll show you about right where, just as soon as I can put the glue on here. I left my long part maybe about an inch or a half an inch up above the grass, about like that. Okay, so put that on there sideways, and then cut out two big wheels from black paper. Of course, if you don't have the colors I'm using, obviously you can use whatever you like. I even suggest cutting pages from magazines and using magazines. Makes a real cool piece of art when you do that. You can do it that way as well. Okay, and then I glued both of these on, just one down at each end. I cut a couple of pieces of smaller, from yellow paper, I cut a couple of smaller circles, and then I glued those to the center of my black ones. So far we have a letter T, and when I put these circles in the middle of my black, we can even see a letter O. All right, and then out of black paper, I cut a smaller letter T, a little hard to see, a smaller letter T, and I'm going to glue that down. I'm going to sort of stick it underneath my red letter T. Kind of stuck it in there like that. That's going to be my steering wheel. And then I cut a little black yellow, a little black letter L. Don't mean to confuse you. Maybe I need another cup of coffee. I don't know. All right, and then that's our seat. There you go. Doesn't that resemble a tractor? And so easy. And if you want to, oh, I don't know, you could get fancy. You could cut a little circle out of some orange paper. And just use your imagination. I am going to put a sun in the sky. Sun in the pink sky. It looks kind of like maybe the sun is setting. And if you wanted to, you could even make a smaller tractor. Maybe you could get brave and make a barn. Maybe you could do a barn. You might be able to do a tree. Something I did that I thought was fun. And you could do this too if you wanted to. I cut out a little duck shape. And I think his little beak got lost, but hang on, I'll cut one out here real quick. Kind of a tiny piece. I think I might have raked it off with my sleeve. But see, I just cut a little duck shape and made a wing sticking out, so it looks like he's holding onto the steering wheel. Oh, and there's the one I cut out originally. It got stuck on my glue stick, so that's good. There, I put a little funny little beak on him. You can have all kinds of fun with this. Just use your imagination. And I gave him a little eye with my pen. So now I have a duck on a tractor. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy this craft. I hope you try it. Have a really good day now today. Take care. Bye-bye.